Whispers in the hospital. It was past midnight in the hospital, and the halls felt endless. The long corridors were quiet, filled only with the soft beeping of monitors and the faint smell of disinfectant. Dr. Elena, tired from her long shift, walked slowly, hoping for a calm night that would finally let her rest. The hospital at night always carried a strange atmosphere. The walls seemed colder, and the shadows under the lights looked deeper and longer. Every sound, from the drip of an intravenous line to the squeak of a cart, echoed louder in the silence. Elena kept walking, though her heart was restless. While checking patient files at the nurse's station, she suddenly heard footsteps. They were slow, heavy, and came from the far end of the corridor as if someone unseen was approaching. When she turned around, the hallway was empty, and the sound stopped instantly, leaving her skin crawling. She forced herself to continue her round, entering rooms to check on sleeping patients. Their breathing was steady, and their monitors glowed faintly in the darkness. Yet, as she moved from one room to another, she felt a heavy presence, as if invisible eyes were following her every step. In the intensive care unit, the silence broke with a sudden scream. A patient, pale and trembling, sat up in bed with terror in his eyes. His lips shook as he whispered, "There's someone standing behind you." Elena spun around quickly, but the room was empty, her heart pounding in her chest. She tried to calm the man, adjusting his oxygen mask and holding his shaking hand. Her own hands trembled as she spoke softly, trying to soothe him back into rest. The machines beeped faster with his panic, and she whispered until his breathing slowed again. Still, his words haunted her mind. Leaving the room, Elena walked faster down the corridor, her shoes echoing loudly against the polished floor. The lights flickered above her, and the air grew suddenly colder around her. At the end of the hall, she froze as she saw a wheelchair rolling slowly by itself, its metal wheels squeaking in the silence. Her chest tightened as she reached the basement to check the backup generators. The air was damp and smelled of disinfectant mixed with old rust. Shadows clung to the corners, and in the silence, she heard soft breathing too close, too real to be her imagination. A shadow stretched across the wall, shaped like a tall man. But when she turned quickly, no one was there. The shadow raised its arm as if pointing at her, and Elena stumbled back, nearly dropping her flashlight. Her mind screamed to run, but her duty kept her frozen in place. The sound of many voices suddenly filled the hallway, whispering, crying, and calling out, all overlapping like echoes of old pain. Elena closed her eyes for a moment, gripping the cold wall for strength. She thought of her patients upstairs depending on her, and she forced herself to stay strong. She hurried back to the elevator, and when the doors opened, her breath caught. The mirrors inside reflected not only her own tired face but faint shadowy shapes around her. Figures stood silently behind her reflection. She blinked hard and they were gone, but the image left her shaking. On the third floor, she checked each patient again with careful steps. This time, the air felt heavier, pressing against her chest with every breath. Some patients stirred in their sleep, whispering words of fear, as if they too felt the invisible presence surrounding them. One elderly woman opened her eyes, her voice weak but clear. She said, "Doctor, the lost souls are walking tonight. gripping Elena's hand tightly. Elena forced a soft smile and reassured her, but inside her heart was racing. She wondered if the hospital itself carried old, forgotten memories. Hours passed, and slowly the strange events began to fade. The whispers grew softer, the lights steadied above her, and the halls returned to their usual silence. The heavy weight on Elena's chest lifted at last, as if the night itself was finally letting her go free. She returned to the intensive care unit, where the frightened patient was now resting calmly, his face peaceful. When he opened his eyes, he whispered, "Thank you for not leaving us alone." His words gave Elena courage, and she realized her presence brought comfort, even in the middle of fear. When dawn arrived, golden sunlight poured through the hospital windows. The building, once filled with shadows and whispers, now glowed with warmth and life. Elena stepped outside, exhausted but proud. She knew she had faced the darkness and protected her patients until morning came.